this has been an increasing sort of phenomenon over the past couple of years, where we see more and more unionization efforts by journalists and journalist outfits, because the business is getting completely squeezed. In no small part by the sort of the same forces that are squeezing everything else too. The consolidation.
Just look what happened to BuzzFeed News.
Yep.
It's supposed to be the hot new thing. Now it's no longer.
A lot of these Obama era sort of media projects, which like to see Obama go in on Netflix, be like, it's hard out there for working people.
Vice is another one.
Well, I mean, there are two dynamics, right? One was the all this money that poured into online stuff that was, in some ways, chasing or was brought in by some of the big tech companies, and Facebook essentially created or enhanced the model of we're going to use your content to sell our ads, and you're going to be effed. And that was one phenomena. And then you had these just sort of like large holding companies essentially buying up a lot of local media and replacing it with sort of like a syndication model, I guess.
And gig workers cutting back in oftentimes for writing up like little bite-sized things for content for these websites as well.
Right. I mean, it all becomes sort of like financialized, and the last thing you're going to pay for is for people. And it's also a lot of similar things that we're seeing in the Writers Guild strike. It's the same sort of dynamic. So there's a union drive at Inside Inc. Or I should say Insider Inc.
Yeah,
and they're
formerly
the people.
Business Insider, which is now just Insider.
Oh, okay. But they run Business Insider, right? They're just sort of like the company's name, and this is some video that I guess the New York Post got a hold of. I don't know if they actually took it.
They didn't. It was obtained by the New York Post, but I think people who recognized him saw him in Windsor Terrace in Brooklyn.
This is Nicholas Carlson, the
global editor-in-chief.
And he is, well, let's play the video.
It speaks for itself.
Hey! He's taking that flyer off of television.
Frustrating.
Almost as
Did you
frustrating
know?
as a layoff.
Are you recording me right now?
I am.
Who are you?
I'm looking at recording.
You're not my reporter.
Oh, I guess that depends on how you look at it.
I'm not your reporter.
It's not my newsroom.
I was like, I'm not your reporter anymore because you laid me off. And guess what? You laid off everyone on the crypto team. Bye!
All right,
Hold on, we got he goes over and picks out more flyers.
Oh my God!
I just pull them all down. Okay, wow.
Glad he's earning his.
Let's just
salary.
be clear on what he's doing. Those flyers. What exactly did the flyers say? They were talking about the unionization drive. The employees, and here they are.
They had images of his face on them, at least some of them.
Yeah. Yes. And have you seen this Millionaire? And it's help us, and it's basically a drive to put pressure on these guys to recognize the union and allow the people who work in the newsroom to make a living.
Yeah, that guy in a spreadsheet leaked to Gawker last year, March 15, 2022, editor-in-chief of Insider makes $600,000 with a $600,000 bonus.
I like the bonus thing.
So, Sam, I think we might need to talk about my contract. I can ride a CitiBike.
Yeah, so we're going to put Sam's photo all over Brooklyn.
Well, that's the thing, is that he claims, he said, like, the reason why I did it was, and scroll down, I think it's in the article, the reason why I pulled him down was because I have a 7-year-old. And where is the actual quote? Nicholas is a big boy. This is a spokesperson for Nicholas is a big boy and can handle attacks made on him on social media.
Nicholas is not his son, but the guy actually riding the bike.
Right, exactly. Nicholas is a big boy and
He's
can
a big
handle
boy,
attacks.
and he didn't even have training wheels on his bike when he was ripping off union posters of his face.
Made
Sorry.
on him on social media, but he was quite alarmed to see the posters plastered all over his neighborhood, including especially around his 7-year-old son's school. And you know,
Kid might ask for a raise in allowance if he knows how much his dad makes.
I'm not sure I buy it.
No. This is not the first time that a craven person has hid behind their children in order to like make their pettiness seem a little bit less so.
I mean, I understand that dynamic a little bit. I mean, I remember when I had to sit Mila down and tell her about, why I was getting fired, or ultimately by MSNBC. They ultimately rehired me. And I had to tell her the joke I made. I guess it was at that point like 8 years earlier. And she was 12 at the time. And I said to her, I told her the thing about what was his face?
Roman Polanski.
Roman Polanski. It's a long story, but if people wanted to give Roman Polanski a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2009, I found that rather disgusting because he had skipped the country after a plea bargain because he had raped a 13-year-old girl, I think she was, a 14-year-old. And the tweet I had made back in 2009 when this went down was, I don't care about Polanski, but if my daughter's ever raped, I hope it's by a much older man who has a great sense of mise en scène. Which, of course, was a satirical way of saying, how can you justify what this guy did? Because he's a great director.
Yeah.
And when it got blown up and Donald Trump Jr. and Seb Gorka retweeted that after Cernovich put it out there in 2017, I had to tell my daughter because it was on the news. And she looked at me and she, why did you tweet that? And I said, because I was upset that I explained it to her as a 12-year-old. And then she had some very choice words for Mike Cernovich, which I will not repeat.
Well, the difficulty thing there, Sam, is like even despite the sort of surface confusion about it, you were righteous in that moment. It's much tougher to tell your kids like, hey, what do I tell my kids? Like, oh, I'm a union buster.
That's the thing. So Nicholas is not a big boy because you know what a big boy would do? A big boy would explain, hey, look, I'm at the top of the pyramid in terms of management, and I'm trying to make sure that my employees and the people I work for don't get paid what they deserve.
Exactly.
Sorry, son, but that's who daddy is.
Yeah.
That would be the big boy thing to do, Nicholas.
But he's tearing down the.
What
What do you tell your kids if they're like, Dad? Well, why were you tearing down those posters? Why are you tearing down flyers?
But he did so safely. He wore a helmet. That was good
I'm not going to knock
for the bike that he
I'm not
rented.
going to knock anybody.
I'm not going to knock. I'm not going to knock it. I'm not going to knock it. I'm just, he was concerned about his own safety. That's all.
That's important.